Shalom. I want to first start by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKadosh. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone, from whom I learned this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 elect. I am Mayak Allah, and we're beginning part 13 on the series of how do I know that I'm a Hebrew Israelite, or how do I know that we are the Hebrew Israelites. And when I say we, I'm referring to the so-called blacks, Latinos, and natives of this land that you call America. And we're going to get right into it. This won't be a very long lesson. I just want to pick up where we left off, right around Genesis chapter 41. And I'm going to start at verse 15. And we finished up where Joseph was about to interpret the dream of Pharaoh. And I'm going to start at chapter 41 and verse 15. And I'm not going to read this whole chapter. We are going to jump around just for the interest of time. But you should go back and make sure you read all of this and read all of Genesis. And I pray that the rain holds off. So if I do end this thing abruptly, it's only because it's beginning to rain. But it's a nice day and I wanted to come out and try to finish this anyway. All right, so we're at Genesis chapter 41, and I'm going to start at verse 15. It says, "And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and there is none that can interpret it. And I have heard say of thee that thou canst understand a dream to interpret it." Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, "It is not in me. The Most High shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace." And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, "In my dream, behold, I stood upon the bank of a river, and behold, there came up out the river 7 kine, flat-fleshed and well-favored, and they fed in a meadow. And behold, 7 other kine came up after them, poor and very ill-favored and lean-fleshed, such as I never saw in all of Egypt for badness. And the lean and the ill-favored kine did eat up the first 7 fat kine. And when they had eaten them up, it could not be known that they had eaten them, but they were still favored as at the beginning. So I awoke, and I saw in my dream, and behold, 7 ears came up in one stalk full of good, and behold, 7 ears withered thin, and blasted with the east wind sprung up after them, and the thin ears devoured the 7 good ears. And I told this unto the magicians, but there was none that could declare it to me. And Joseph said unto Pharaoh, The dream of the Pharaoh is one. The Most High have showed Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good kine are 7 years, and 7 good ears are 7 years. The dream is one, and the 7 thin and ill-favored kine that came up after them are 7 years, and the 7 empty ears blasted with the east wind shall be 7 years of famine. This is the thing which I have spoken unto Pharaoh. What the Most High is about to do, he showeth unto Pharaoh. Behold, there came 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt, and there shall arise after them 7 years of famine. And them 7 years, and all the plenty shall be forgotten, in the land of Egypt, and the famine shall consume the land, and the plenty shall not be known in the land by reason of that famine following, for it shall be very grievous. So there's a famine that's going to be coming into the land of Egypt. Verse 32, and for that the dream was doubled unto Pharaoh twice, it is because the thing is established by the Most High, and the Most High will shortly bring it to pass. So we see that the Most High comes to men in dreams. Now, I'm not saying that all dreams are going to make sense to us and all, but when the Most High wants to communicate with man, he does make those. He does bring those dreams. Verse 32, and for that the dream was doubled unto Pharaoh twice, it is because the thing is established by the Most High, and the Most High will shortly bring it to pass. Now therefore let Pharaoh look out a man discreet and wise, and set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers over the land, and take up the 5th part of the land of Egypt in 7 plenteous years. And let him gather all the food of those good years that come, and lay up corn under the hand of Pharaoh, and let them keep the food in the cities. And that food shall be for store to the land against the 7 years of famine, which shall be in the land of Egypt, that the land perish not through the famine. Verse 37, and the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of all his servants. And Pharaoh said unto his servants, can we find such a one as this is, a man in whom the Spirit of the Most High is? And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, forasmuch as the Most High hath showed thee all, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. Thou shalt be over my house, and according unto thy word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than thou. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, see, I have set thee over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh took off his ring from his hand, and put it upon Joseph's hand, and arrayed him in vestures of fine linen, and put a gold chain about his neck. So we can see that Pharaoh has made Joseph the second in charge of Egypt, and he's put that gold chain on his neck. Much like a people today love to wear gold chains and show off their gold chains. Verse 43, and he made him to ride the second chariot which he had, and they cried before him, bow the knee. And he made him ruler over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I am Pharaoh, and without thee shall no man lift up his hand or foot in all the land of Egypt. All right, and then just to back up the fact that the Most High comes to man in dreams and reveals what he wants to reveal to man, I'm going to just take a look into Sirach 34. The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 34, and verse 3. Because we see that the Pharaoh had been given a vision, but with this vision, he couldn't interpret it, so he had to have a wise man to interpret it for him, which was Joseph. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 34 and verse 3. It says, the vision of dreams is the resemblance of one thing to another, even as the likeness of a face to a face. And that's exactly what happened with Pharaoh when he was shown the kine, or shown the cows and shown the ears of corn, and they devoured the thin kind, devoured the fat kind. He had a vision that was being given to him by the Most High, and it took an Israelite man who was wise enough and who the Most High dwelt with, in order for that dream to be interpreted. So we see that Sirach 34:3 just kind of backs up what had happened with Pharaoh. And I'm just going to jump down to verse 45 and read a little bit more so we can get an understanding of what's taking place here now that Joseph has been appointed over the land of Egypt. And we're still in chapter 41 of Genesis, and I'm dropping down to 45. It says, and Pharaoh called Joseph's name Zephnath-Paneah, and he gave him to wife Asenath, the daughter of Potiphera, priest of On. And Joseph went out over all the land of Egypt. So I want to take a look, because I like to look at names and look at the meaning of names, because they're so important. So the Pharaoh wanted to rename Joseph, and I'm gonna be looking at the definition in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. And it's starting to rain here, so hopefully, Lord willing, I'll be able to get through this before the rain starts coming down too hard. And let's see. I'm on page 612. And this name that the Pharaoh had given to Joseph, Zephnath-Paneah, says the one who furnishes the sustenance of the land. So that's a very, very interesting name that the Pharaoh had given him. But he was listening to the interpretation of the dream, and he thought it would be appropriate to rename Joseph, because he would be the one who would ration out the sustenance in the time of the famine. And I also want to take a look at the wife that was given to Joseph by the Pharaoh. I'm going to look in the blue letter just to get a definition of that name. Bear with me just a minute here. Let me pull it up. Since we're looking in the blue letter, we can get a pronunciation of that also. And let's see here. And 45, we're going to go, like I said, we're in the blue letter. All right, and his wife is named Asenath. That's H621 in the blue letter. And we can get a pronunciation here, because I might be saying it wrong.
Strong's H621. Asenath. Asenath.
Asenath. It says, belonging to the goddess Neith, the wife of Joseph's. So I want to see who this goddess Neith is, and see what that means, because this would be an Egyptian goddess. So I'm just going to go into Google and see who that goddess Neith is. And it says Neith is an ancient Egyptian goddess associated with war, weaving, and wisdom, and she is also considered a creator goddess. She was one of the oldest deities in the Egyptian pantheon and was particularly revered in the city of Sais. So we'll see why that name is relevant. Like I said, I like to look up names just to get meanings, get a little bit more understanding on names. All right, and we're still in verse 41, chapter 41. And I'm at verse 46. It says, and Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh and went throughout all the land of Egypt. And in the 7 plenteous years, the earth brought forth by handfuls. And he gathered up all the food of the 7 years which were in the land of Egypt, and laid up the food in the cities. The food of the field, which was round about every city, he laid up in the same. And Joseph gathered corn as the sand of the sea, very much until he left numbering, for it was without number. So he gathered up so much he couldn't even number how much he had gathered up. Verse 50, and unto Joseph were born 2 sons before the years of famine came, which Asenath, daughter of Potiphera, priest of On, bare unto him. And Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh, for the Most High, said he, hath made me forget all my toil and all my father's house. So Manasseh, even though he's the child of Joseph and the grandchild of Jacob, would come to be the name of one of the tribes, one of the 12 tribes of Israel. And in the Hebrew, it is pronounced Manasseh, which means made to forget. Because as we just read, it made Joseph, the child being born, made Joseph forget all the toiling that he had done with gathering up all the food that he had stored up. And it also made him take his mind off his brothers and his father whom he missed. Verse 52, and the name of the second called he Ephraim, for the Most High had caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. So he was initially afflicted in Egypt. And he had named his second son Ephraim. And in the Hebrew is pronounced Aparayam. And it means I am fruitful. Because as Joseph says, that's the reason why he named him that, because, and I'll read it again, verse 52, the name of the second called he Ephraim, for the Most High hath caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. So we can see these names do have meaning. I'm just going to read a little bit more here so we can keep the understanding of what's going on. And I may read down to the end of the chapter. Verse 53, and the 7 years made plenteous that was in the land of Egypt were ended. So the 7 years of plenty is about to end, and the famine is about to begin. And the 7 years of dearth began to come. According to Joseph, he said, and the dearth was in all lands, but in all the land of Egypt there was bread. So the dearth, and let's take a look and see what the word dearth is, because it's not an everyday word. And I'm looking in the blue letter. and it is H7458, and we'll get the pronunciation in the Hebrew of what dearth is.
Strong's H7458. Ra'av. Ra'av.
Ra'av, and it means famine, hunger, a famine in the land, nation. All right, so that's what a dearth is. A dearth is the famine. So the famine is about to hit the lands. Verse 55, it says, and when all the land of Egypt was famished, the people cried to Pharaoh for bread. And Pharaoh said unto all the Egyptians, go unto Joseph, what he saith to you, do. And the famine was over all the face of the earth. So the famine was everywhere, not just in Egypt, but it was everywhere. And Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold unto the Egyptians, and the famine waxed sore in the land of Egypt. And all countries came into Egypt to Joseph for to buy corn, because that the famine was so sore in all lands. So we're going to find that other people from other lands are coming to Joseph, because they had heard that they had a storehouse and they had a surplus of food that was going to help them along the way in this famine. And I'm going to go into chapter 42, but I'm not going to read all of it. We're going to be jumping around here just to get a little bit of understanding. I'm just going to read I'm going to start at 1. It says, now when Jacob saw that there was corn in Egypt, Jacob said unto his sons, why do ye look one upon another? And he said, behold, I have heard that there is corn in Egypt. Get you down thither and buy for us from thence, that we may live and not die. And Joseph's 10 brethren went down to buy corn in Egypt. But Benjamin, Joseph's brother, Jacob, sent not with his brethren, for he said, lest peradventure mischief befall him. And the sons of Israel came to buy corn among those that came, for the famine was in the land of Canaan. So all Joseph's brothers were sent out by Jacob, but he held back Benjamin. He kept Benjamin there with him. Benjamin was the younger brother. He was the youngest brother, but he was the younger brother of Joseph. Let's see, verse 5 says, and the sons of Israel came to buy corn among those that came, for the famine was in the land of Canaan. And Joseph was the governor over the land, and it was that sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brethren came and bowed down themselves before him with their faces to the earth. Now that sounds kind of familiar, since we were talking about dreams. Verse 8 says, and Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew not him. So Joseph recognized his brothers, but his brothers didn't recognize him because time had passed. And Joseph remembered the dreams which he dreamed of them, and said unto them, ye are spies. To see the nakedness of the land ye are come. So he accused his brethren of being spies. And the dream that he's referring to is, and we're going to go back to it, that's in chapter 37. In verse 9 it says, and he dreamed yet another dream, and told it to his brethren, and said, behold, I have dreamed a dream more, and behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me. So that's the dream that he was having, that his brothers would bow down to him. Now he didn't know when that was going to occur. He just remembered that he did have that dream. I'm going to read verse 10. I'm still in chapter 37. It says, and he told it to his father and to his brethren, and his father rebuked him and said unto him, what is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Shall I and thy mother and thy brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee, to the earth? So we see, just as Pharaoh's dream had been interpreted by the Most High through Joseph, this dream that Joseph had is now coming to light, and now it's making sense to him why he had dreamed this dream. So I'm going to jump over to chapter 45, because we see now that his brethren are in the land, and they're coming because of this famine, and they bowed themselves down to their brother, not knowing that it was their brother Joseph that they were bowing themselves down to. And I'm in verse 40, chapter 45, and I'm going to start at verse 4. It says, and Joseph said unto his brethren, come near to me, I pray you. And they came near. And he said, I am Joseph, your brother, whom ye sold into Egypt. So a lot of things had occurred in between, because like I said, we just did kind of jump over from chapter 42 over to 45. And he had taken them through a little bit of, a few changes just to, to I don't know, was he just having fun, or was he just intended to teach him a lesson of what they had done to him? But I'm going to continue on verse 4. I'm in chapter 45. It says, and Joseph said unto his brethren, come near to me, I pray you. And they came near. And he said, I am Joseph, your brother, whom ye sold into Egypt. Now therefore be not grieved, nor angry with yourselves, that ye sold me hither, for the Most High did send me before you to preserve your life. So out of this, Joseph sees that this all happened, this all occurred for a reason. Even though his brothers sold him into slavery in Egypt, it was occurring for a reason, because the Most High wanted to work it out to be this way. And we're beginning to see why and how the Israelites came to be dwelling in that land of Egypt. Verse 6, it says, for these 2 years hath the famine been in the land, and yet there are 5 years in which there shall neither be earing nor harvest. And the Most High sent me before you to preserve you a posterity in the earth, and to save your lives by a great deliverance. So now it was not you that sent me hither, but the Most High. And he hath made me a father to Pharaoh, and lord of all his house, and a ruler throughout all the land of Egypt. Haste ye and go up to my father, and say unto him, thus saith the son of Joseph, the Most High hath made me lord of all Egypt. Come down unto me, and tarry not. And thou shalt dwell in the land of Goshen, and thou shalt be near unto me, thou and thy children, and thy children's children, and thy flocks, and thy herds, and all that thou hast. And there will I nourish thee, for yet there are 5 years of famine, lest thou and thy household and all that thou hast come to poverty. And behold, your eyes see, and the eyes of my brother Benjamin, that is my mouth that speaketh unto you. And ye shall tell my father of all my glory in Egypt, and of all that ye have seen, and ye shall haste and bring down my father hither. So he wants his brothers to go back and get all their family, the father Jacob, and bring them into the land of Goshen. And it's beginning to rain here, so I'm gonna just be finishing up here real quickly. And we're gonna just see if I can't find. Yeah, I'm looking in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary at this map of Egypt. Let's try to get it into focus here, so you can get an idea of where Goshen is in Egypt. And we can see Goshen is here. And this says in the land of Goshen the Israelites dwell in bondage. Now, even though the bondage really has not come yet, this is how they came to dwell in Goshen, because this is where Joseph is. All right. And I'm going to jump over to chapter 46. And I'm going to read. I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, "And Israel took his journey with all that he had," Israel being Jacob. You know, he was renamed to Israel. "And came to Beersheba, and offered sacrifices unto the Most High of his father Isaac. And the Most High spake unto Israel in the visions of the night, and said, Jacob, Jacob. And he said, Here I am. And he said, I am the Most High, the Most High of thy father. Fear not to go down into Egypt, for I will there make of thee a great nation." And I'm going to jump down to verse 26. And I'm going to get ready to wrap it up here because the rain's starting to come down. Chapter 46 and verse 26, it says, "All the souls that came with Jacob into Egypt, which came out of his loins, besides Jacob's sons' wives, all the souls were 66. 60. That would be 60 and 6, so 66. It says, "And the sons of Jacob, which were born him in Jacob, were 2 souls, and all the souls of the house of Jacob, which came into Egypt, were 70. So that would be 60 plus 10, 70. It says, "And he sent Judah before him unto Joseph to direct his face unto Goshen, and they came into the land of Goshen. And Joseph made ready his chariot and went up to meet Israel his father to Goshen, and presented himself unto him, and fell on his neck, and wept on his neck a good while. And Israel said unto Joseph, Now let me die, since I have seen thy face, because thou art yet alive. And Joseph said unto his brethren, and unto his father's house, I will go up and show Pharaoh, and say unto him, My brethren and my father's house, which in the land of Canaan, are come unto me." Verse 32, it says, "And the men are shepherds for their trade, and have been to feed cattle, and they have brought their flocks and their herds, and all that they have. And it shall come to pass, when Pharaoh shall call you, he shall say, What is your occupation? That ye shall say, Thy servant's trade hath been about cattle from our youth until now, even until now, both we and also our fathers, that ye may dwell in the land of Goshen. For every shepherd is an abomination unto the Egyptians." All right, so I'm going to go ahead and end it there, because like I said, the rain is beginning to come down. And I pray that this has been edifying. And I'm going to go ahead and stop here and give all praise and honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah Kadesh. Shalom.